Get goes everybody, because they will continue to play her lie I try to believe. Let's go. This is pretty great. I went directly to the ones in charge of those stupid lists. They probably had made a mistake, useless as they were. That's where I heard something preposterous, something so fucking ridiculous I had no other choice but to snap back at them and insult the lots of them. They told me, and this is the most serious tone there is, that she had quit school a month and a half ago. A fucking month and a half. So while I was uselessly, obsessively, foolishly trying the best I could to surpass this girl that I thought was my equal, she was messing around probably with boys or whatever and didn't think of me as even worth the effort. She probably thought she could already have everything in life since she was so fucking good, and she left me here like a fool lingering with this fucking feeling inside of my throat that just doesn't want to disappear. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to believe it, but it was the truth nonetheless. I was just too fucking blind to see it coming. That was all. Fuck. That bitch. She won even when I was sure of winning. This hopeless feeling I was so eager to give her was now stuck within me, unable to get rid of it. She was no longer someone I could go head to head with since she had given up entirely. I asked for the reason for her departure, and he told me it was a personal matter. Probably had something to do with her family or whatever, but I knew it wasn't. Fucking bullshit. It was probably her way to get back at me, knowing that I was finally going to beat her. She ended up just quitting to make sure it never happens. But then I had a revelation. What if I decided to wait for her another year? Yeah, that would be a great idea. I just need to purposely fail and then... But then I realized I just topped number 2 in my last academic results and was pretty much sure of passing. Fuck. This was over. I had lost the one thing that was keeping me going. For a time, I seriously wondered what I was going to do with my life now that I've lost all interest. But eventually, it didn't matter all that much, since I had done this for a good part of my youth. I couldn't easily stop. So I just continued studying the best I could, with emptiness as my sole source of motivation. High school came to an end extremely quickly. The last day of school, I looked around me and saw a lot of students happily chatting together, probably feeling proud of themselves. Some had boyfriends and girlfriends at their side, with their arms around them, as though the world no longer had any secret to them. I was the best of my class, one of the best of the whole school, and yet I knew nothing. I felt hollow. I was already going to the top university. I could see my future without anyone telling me. Yet I had lost something by becoming who I am. I know this, but since I'm not one of them, I don't know what that is. Jesus, what the hell? Chapter 2. A group date, maybe? Ooh, okay. And then what happened? 2 years. It took 2 years to see her again. By that time, my majoring was very well underway, as I was starting to be used to the university lifestyle. I was living on my own inside a gloomy, one-room apartment for less than a year. I had zero passions, and only knew how to do one thing correctly, which is, of course, studying, as if I was the subject of a curse a long time ago. I don't know why I was so into it. Yeah, I'll probably have a lot of doors open up to me in the future, but what if I don't want to enter any of them? I have no motivation to climb up the ladder, and surely wouldn't know what to do with all the money being thrown at me. But I guess this type of attitude could attract some people, as if they know talking to you would inevitably boost their own self-esteem. That's how I made my first friend, since, well, have I ever had a friend before? Well, it's not as if I was seeing him as a friend either way. He was in most of my classes during high school. I took that as an opportunity to start socializing with me during our courses together. I went with the flow, finding my own amusement in his somewhat carefree demeanor. That's when one day, out of nowhere, he decided to invite me to this, I don't remember how it's pronounced. I can't call it a date. A group date, maybe? You mean a mixer? Fuck it. Anyway, it was this thing where a group of men and women of the same age and logically of the same number meet with each other for almost the first time in an attempt to find love. It was obviously a cheap excuse for trying to find somebody to empty your load in, but whatever. To the point I was in, it didn't matter all that much. Trying to fuck someone was, as most of the men my age, any age really, one of my priorities, even though pretty much inaccessible. I didn't get out of my way to try and have sex, and that's probably the reason why I had zero sex life. So I accepted. He was kinda odd though. He said to me, "You won't regret it, Tim. I even have a surprise waiting for you." And he would laugh like an imbecile. He was an imbecile, and I only realized what he meant by that when I entered the bar we were meeting at. Holy shit, this is fucking exciting. There were 7 waiting, 8 with me, 4 boys and 4 girls. 2 of those girls were completely unattractive, fat or with a big chin and a weird hairstyle. The other one was already almost in bed with that big-mouthed guy, so those 3 were unfuckable. That was my first thought upon entering the bar. The second thought wasn't as different as the first one, but it was still very surprising indeed. It was her. She was there, drinking a beer casually, talking with that other guy, sports-like type. Another one unfuckable, but of course not for the same reason. I should just get out of here. This is so pitiful, it's not even funny. That's when Mike, my friend, noticed my arrival and forcefully introduced me to the group. "Oh, this guy I was talking about. Hey Tim, come, don't be shy, we were waiting for you." Almost clicked my tongue out loud, but thought otherwise. Maybe that big chin one could be fuckable with a couple of beers. I sat next to my friend. I tried not to look too much at the right-hand side of the table because the symmetry irritated me somehow. He said my name out loud and said everyone else's name right after. I don't remember any of them and seriously don't want to use even the most useless part of my brain to store one of them. I still politely greeted everyone until it came to that name. "And I could introduce you to Cassandra, but I guess I don't have to, right?" I looked at him, annoyed. He's clearly happy to introduce her to me, as though me meeting her again would make me happy. It's like a gift or something. Why the fuck does he even know the fact that we already knew each other? I said, yeah, with a hand scratching my hair, a bit flustered. Likewise, she didn't look my way all that much and only said hi, with a voice that could be misunderstood as a whisper. I'm grateful for that. Even I harbored hate for her for the most part of my life, and probably still. The fact she understood my reluctance to face her was what saved the little composure I had left. So I was able to enjoy my beer while chatting with a group of people around me. It didn't disturb me all that much that she actually was there. It was just that, in the heat of the moment, I didn't know what to think of. I didn't even understand the feeling I had for her anymore. I hated her for so long a time that for me it was as though she wasn't even human, and the fact that she disappeared completely from my life at one point, my mind only assumed she was dead. So a non-human presumed dead, looking so lively and joyous, it was only natural that I was baffled a bit. Yeah, that's a good reason. She was sexy, no longer cute or beautiful, but sexy. She had a blue shirt which underlined well her overly seductive forms, a black skirt that I couldn't see very well due to the table, and her hair was loose and ended a bit under her chest. I tried not to look at her, but it was hard when surrounded by ugly girls. I still did what I must. I tried to hook up with Chin Girl in front of me. What an asshole. After an hour and a half, I was at my 4th beer, and the first couple decided to finish the night alone. This made things a bit complicated. Now there were me, the fat girl, my friend, the big chin, the sports dude, and whatever, the other girl that I once knew. So it was obviously becoming harder and harder to actually not interact with her. That's when the phone of the girl in front of me, Chin, started vibrating. She became kind of hysterical by I think it was a message that she received on her phone. She said a couple of words to the fat girl seated next to her, then took off. The fat girl looked at me a bit awkward and said, "Sorry, her ex just texted her so." As if it was the most understandable thing in the world. So that ugly chick just dumped me for a guy that probably flushed her a while ago. I was depressed, but not for her departure per se, obviously. At least the alcohol started to do its work. That's when everything started to turn into the wrong direction. My friend who was seated on my left in front of the fat chick was now seated on my right. The sports dude who once chatted with that girl was now enjoying his time with the fat chick on my left. That's when I realized that my friend, without notifying me in advance, started a group conversation with her and me. "So, from where do you two know each other?" I was staring at the table, or maybe at the beer in my hand, trying not to look too interested. I think she answered him something while giggling, but I don't remember all that much. She too seemed to be drinking quite heavily. "That long, man. I bet you're glad you'll be able to meet each other like this. Maybe it's fate. Who knows?" He was irritating me. It was so obvious he was the one who pulled this off. Perhaps they were in mesh with each other to humiliate me or something. That's when I uttered something that I probably shouldn't have. I don't know why I thought it would be a great idea. "Tell me." I looked at him with a bit of defiance. "How do you know that she and I knew each other anyway?" I looked at his every change in expression. I probably thought he would be confused, unable to explain himself properly, but that wasn't it. He was surprised that I didn't know the reason behind it. Come on, man, everybody in high school probably knew about it. Don't you remember? That's the girl with her friends who were starting bad rumors about Cass because she just quit school? Fuck, now I remember. Oh man, I remember still. You were so ruthless. You walked up to those girls and started insulting the shit out of them about how uneducated they were, how they were wasting their time and had no future. And then you started numbering every achievement Cass ever accomplished, to the prize she won during some piano competition, to the national rank she topped with her academic results. And you know, I'm not the one to hit a girl or anything, but this one was asking for it, so... She didn't try to listen one bit and was continuously cutting you off about some bullshit she heard somewhere down the street. How ridiculous. This was when I was still very much on edge from losing what I thought was my only drive in this world. Some bitches were bad-mouthing her about something along the line of prostitution or some stupid shit like that. It was the week after she had quit school, so anything goes, I guess. But then, since they had nothing else more useful to do, they started to say some bullshit about her cheating during exams or giving sexual bribery to teachers in order to top higher in midterms. That's when I lost my shit, because telling those ridiculous things would insinuate that the rival I always thought as my equal was nothing more than a fake, and this was completely unacceptable. And yeah, I would have beaten the shit out of them if it weren't for the teacher meddling with it. Hey Sam, do you remember what you shouted at her to make her shut up? Enough! Even if she prostitutes herself or even cheats during midterms doesn't change the fact that she's way better than lots of you. At least she achieved everything she ever set herself out to do. You low-life bitches will never understand the meaning of the term achievement as long as you still live in this world. Do you understand, you worthless piece of shit? I remember it down to the very last syllable. I have no fucking clue why, though. He said it out loud, not nearly as perfect as I remembered it, but it was still surprising hearing it from someone else's mouth. I then instantly noticed her blushing. By understanding the meaning of those words, this was bad. This was a misunderstanding. I never said this in order to protect her. I said it because... that moment I knew for a fact that you were head over heels for her, and I found it so tragic you probably never had a chance to say it to her, so you could understand why. When I remembered her out of absolutely nowhere at my part-time job. He points casually towards her. I had to try to arrange something for the both of you. So that's why you invited me here tonight. I was then on my 5th beer, and I was not what we call a heavy drinker back then, so I was agitated alright, just it was easily concealed by my wasted features, which were naturally much more blatant. Yeah man, what else? We're friends, right? You look so down all the time, I thought this might cheer you up. You didn't have to. Seriously, you didn't have to, you fucking idiot. She wasn't saying anything much, she was looking my way silently, but I couldn't muster the strength to look at her directly. I wonder why she was so silent when she was saying all those things which were directly related to her. Then... that's my girlfriend texting me. Sorry guys, gotta go. My useless friend got himself up in a hurry. What do you mean? You have a girlfriend? What was he doing here then? Yeah, tonight was for you, man. He approached me ever so slightly, his breath bringing the stench of warm beer with it, and whispered to my ear, "Enjoy yourself, will ya?" And for this, he disappeared without a trace. Well, not disappeared, but I was intoxicated to a point where the actions my mind perceived around me were as though they were made in fast forward. Life and time were moving rapidly without my consent. This was extremely awkward. I turned to my left to ask the other two what they planned to do. I desperately wanted to end the night right then and there, but... Hey, have you any idea what There was no longer anyone seated there. Noticing this, I looked around me to realize that she and I were the only ones left at the table. They took off 10 minutes ago, maybe, or was it 15 ago? For the first time that night, I made eye contact with her. Her face was flushed slightly red by the effect of the alcohol. It would have been visible to a blind that she was totally wasted. I didn't want to speak to her. I didn't want to have another minute wasted in her presence. But social etiquette was forcing me to, at the very fucking least, make sure she doesn't die before reaching her home. Let's get out of here, I said pretty coldly. She accepted right away. She didn't show any fear of being alone with me, even though we were complete strangers to one another. Want to take a cab? I asked forcefully, but she said, "Let's smoke for a bit, alright?" I clicked my tongue, but this time I made sure she heard it alright. She didn't mind, or at least she didn't show it. What the hell? She had a smile plastered on her face ever since we left the bar, not slightly affected by my cold behavior. She looked happy, irritatingly so. We didn't talk at all. We were completely silent, and it was all right with me. It was all right until she stumbled a bit on my shoulder accidentally. Sorry. Her body touched mine. I felt for the 2 extremely little seconds it lasted, the form of her breast on my arm, and then the palm of her hand on my shoulder. It was then that I realized that she was a member of the opposite sex. Wait, where is it? Where's the dial? Oh, there you go. She looks happy, doesn't she? With the happiness that she stole from me. If she hadn't put school on that day, I'm sure our expressions would be reversed right now. Yet she's always been the one with the smile in the end, while we continue walking silently, but we're somehow closer now that I helped her back on her feet. Wait a minute, isn't it that kind of situation? You know, the one where I walk her by the closest hotel and she's too wasted to understand what's going on? Maybe if I ask her nicely, she would even follow me willingly? Maybe she's still a virgin. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I could have satisfied myself by taking away her pride back then, but what about now? I could probably rape her and take this away from her. That pride, and most of all, that smile. Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck? You want to go to jail or something? Gosh. My member starts to erect by those simple thoughts. It's a bit uncomfortable since my jeans are too tight for it to grow to its full potential. I take another hard look at her. Yeah, what a beautiful body she has. Those hips and those breasts, even her lips seem obscene right now. It would be a total shame for this indecent body of hers to be entirely defiled by a complete stranger. Every inch completely stained without any means of getting this purity she had back. I could probably violate her over and over again until her mind becomes as hollow as mine. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Now my manhood has reached its complete magnitude. It throbs intensely in the anticipation of this forbidden act my thoughts are drowning themselves in. One simple look at me would have probably given it away, but she's too preoccupied with trying to walk straight to even look my way. Imagining such pressure that I have in my pants right now, so tainted with the sin of my vile imagination, penetrating her pure body aggressively and without any restraint, only pushes me further down this unforgiving path that shouldn't be crossed. But I already decided, didn't I? I'm already fantasizing on her virginity, only to increase the pain I would most definitely inflict on her. I want to make her cry, realizing she will lose something she will never get back. At that time, I will lick every last tear from her face until she's completely drained out. What the fuck is wrong with you? You need to call the cops, man. My hand approaches her thigh slowly. If I could simply get my hand around her to help her keep her balance as an excuse, I could easily control her destination. That moment will seal her fate, and at that time, I will rip away that smile from her perfect face that I always hated so much. Maybe at the end of the day, I will be satisfied enough to forgive her. Maybe at the end of the day, I will finally become whole again. The only thing I regret is not having acted that part at the start of the night. If I had faked to be gentle and caring, had laughed with her about how young we were back then, I could have pushed her even further down the road of complete hopelessness by betraying even her expectations. She said softly out of nowhere. I abruptly stopped my hand from getting any further. I didn't notice because I was too focused on her alluring forms, but she was looking at my face for how long? I have no idea, but she saw it. That I'm sure of it. My disgusting expression, already tarnishing her with my eyes. She saw everything, and yet the only thing she said was, "I'm sorry, I knew how much you hated me, yet I..." Then she stumbled on me again, with even less restraint. Her eyes, those eyes, I remember, were they really this way? It can't be. I stopped brusquely? I don't know. But that means she stopped to herself. "Do you have any money?" I asked mechanically. "Not much." She replied as if knowing the question would inevitably be asked. "Can't be helped." I pulled out my phone again, mechanically inputted a string of numbers. "What are you doing?" I didn't reply to her. I didn't even look her way. Instead, Yeah, at the intersection of... And I put away my phone emotionlessly. "Tim, I thought it would have been nice to talk for a bit. Don't you wanna?" She seems let down. What does this woman want from me? Didn't she see my face just a moment ago? Is she that desperate to be raped by some loser like me? I take my wallet out, take two $20 bills and shove it in her hand violently. The taxi will be there in 5 minutes. This should cover the bill. I turn around without waiting, or saying goodbye for all that matter. She doesn't say anything either. She simply looks at me with those eyes. Those eyes which are even colder than mine. Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with... Well, at least he didn't do it. So, Chapter 3. So he has such intrusive thoughts. An unexpected encounter. He has very graphic, vivid thoughts. I had hoped to never see her again, and for the better part of 2 years, it turned out pretty much that way. I might have glanced at someone with similar features once or twice during that time, but I simply avoided coming closer to that particular person in order to escape the chance of an encounter. I had graduated from college and was now working for a company for less than a year. I diligently focused on my work the same way I did during time at at school. Even though I didn't have any ambition, the way I did my work mechanically, like a machine, was something to be proud about, supposedly. At least that's how my paycheck saw the whole thing. Fucking awesome, man. Good for you. My life seemed to have been pretty much set in stone by then. I even finally found a girlfriend who could deal with my boring self and even more boring life. So I had someone to fuck a couple of times during the week to officially evacuate my stress. Holy shit. I didn't love her. I think she knew it. Did she simply turn a blind eye? Or was she, too, using me for her own interest? Doesn't really matter. I don't think she loved me either. Now that I think, I would love myself even if I was forced to. Jesus. It was a night like many others, but that particular client loved to meet in a peculiar environment, even if it was only to speak business. Now that he was the only one with such special requests, and to be honest, it didn't bother me all that much. It was the third time maybe that I would come to this place. Normally we would meet on a Tuesday, but because of some unforeseen inconveniences, he decided we should meet on the following Thursday instead. It was a place that could be attributed to the category of adult entertainment, yet it wasn't the traditional strip club like most men would think of when hearing the term adult entertainment. No, it was a place a bit more classy. But don't misunderstand, alright? The theme around the whole establishment was very much sex indeed, but instead of the term prostitutes, the women would bear the name of hostesses, and instead of dancing nude around the pole indecently, they would simply serve drinks and food to the clients, all the while sitting around the table to fake interest on the client's pathetic life. Some people might probably wonder why such a business would be categorized as something similar to a strip club, but what you need to understand here is that every woman serving in that particular establishment can be bought for the night. The only thing is you need to pay the high price, alright? Those women are high-quality prostitutes after all. So I was with the man, speaking of everything except meaningful topics until the hostess came in. She started asking if we needed anything to drink, but became agitated in the middle of her speech all of a sudden, probably because she finally understood with whom she was dealing with. Because obviously, it was her. Holy shit, again? What the fuck? She was there in front of me, those eyes, the smile, I could hardly believe it. She was as beautiful as ever, and with that she was wearing a tight, sensual black dress. It was hard not to think of anything else but sex when looking at her. Those dark urges that made her apparition 2 years ago, the vulgar and evil passion which had driven my mind completely wild back then, everything that I felt on that single night was rekindled instantly. The woman I thought might have been a virgin 2 years ago was working as a prostitute. For how long has she been doing this? Again, she made a fool out of me. I fought those urges the best I could on that night, thinking how wrong it would be to subject those evil intentions onto such a pure and delicate woman, when in reality, she was stained from the very beginning. She probably even wanted the damn thing, forcing me to pay after the fact, probably. How sly of her. How fucking sly of her. Looking down on me like that. Fucking bitch. This time. Whoa, holy shit. Can't we speak for a bit? She said, extremely tense. It was now a full hour after meeting her at the bar. I had chatted with her for a bit, not hiding my complete disinterest in what she was saying, only looking at her body in complete lust. I didn't say anything about her profession. Perhaps she thought I was mindful of something. Well, I betrayed that thought, alright. I simply said to her, let's finish the night at the hotel. And that's where we are now. We've literally just taken the first step into the room, and I've already ordered her to take off her clothes. We've just arrived, she pointed out. We should drink some wine to loosen up the mood, don't you think? I don't believe this. That cunt has been spreading her legs for dirty old men for God knows how long, yet she's reluctant to the idea of undressing in front of me. How long is she going to insult me like this? I don't give a shit about your opinion on the matter. But, she interjects, I said to fucking undress already. Isn't that fucking clear to you? I started shouting frantically. We're both standing in front of one another with only 4 feet separating us apart. She's visibly agitated by my sudden behavior. Thankfully enough, the exit is behind me so she can't escape easily. She does as I ask, and she's visibly pained by that fact, while I look at her every movement with those ever so filthy eyes of mine. I'm so absorbed by her that I almost forget how to breathe. Holy shit! I should censor this. Oh, what's this? Is this supposed to be your cute side or something? How disgusting. To my surprise, she's not wearing a G-string. She's wearing ordinary panties with some ridiculous motifs on it. Some kind of running shoes or something. Yeah, I wear it because, well, you don't like it? I sneer exaggeratedly as an answer to her question. Her eyes fall down in frustration. I start enjoying myself. Humiliating her might very well be what I needed to finally cope with myself. Oh shit, no, this cannot be okay. But while those pleasant thoughts start to take form inside of my mind, I finally realize something. She took off her panties. She took off her panties, alright, but what is she? Hey, what the fuck are you doing? She stares at the ground shyly. Stop hiding yourself like that. I want to see every little detail of the slutty body of yours. Aren't you supposed to be proud of it? Showing it to every loser you meet for just a few empty butts? She was both hiding her breast and her crotch with her arms and hands as though she was undressing in front of a man for the very first time. How long is she going to mock me like this? I don't want it this way. Not while you do. Huh? I walked up to her enraged. Is she telling me she can't do it with me? That even though she's literally selling her body and shame away every single day, she can still refuse me of all people? How fucking insulting. And I was even trying to keep a minimum of respect. But now... I pushed her hard at the bed. She fell onto it without any means of fighting back. But even as she's lying on top of the bed completely defenseless, she still tries the best she can to hide herself from me, as if I was the most disgusting and vile monster she ever saw. Enough. I climbed the bed without showing any restraint. Uh-oh. The fact that she still hadn't cried out for help surprises me immensely, as I, without a shred of doubt, must look extremely terrifying right now. In no time at all, I'm on top of her, desperately trying to force her arms on top of her in order to pin down her movements. I finally achieved my end without too much difficulty the moment I remembered that delicacy was not in the dictionary of the monster she thought of me. It's no one's fault except her own. She made me who I am. It cannot be helped. She should be asking for forgiveness. If she hadn't laughed at me for all these years, this situation would never have come into existence. Something inside of me was shouting those things to me, encouraging me in going further. Alas, with her arms out of the way, I could finally take one good look at her body. No need to explain that at the very moment. My dick was already at its limit and ready to explode. It was hot as fire, waiting for the great apprehension for the moment when it could finally thrust myself into her ferociously. My eyes licked her all the way from the bottom to the top. Those long and delicate legs, that perfectly shaped... Okay, I can't say that. Her slender arms and stomach, those huge and pale breasts, and then... What? Her face. Her face without that smile. Her face, which was bright and red, contorted into a sorrowful expression. She was giving. She was crying. Oh, for that she was. But those were not tears out of fear for her life. She didn't ask me to let go of her, or at least be gentle with her. She was just silently crying as if she had given up. She wasn't scared at all of me. She was disappointed. Or me. Of me? Of her? Or the situation? I have no idea. But why was I even trying to understand anyway? By that point, I had stopped myself. For what reason? I don't know. Her behavior was hypnotizing me. I didn't know what to think of it. Is it this what I was wishing for? It was my fantasy, wasn't it? To take away this smile of hers? This happiness? But now I realize there was never any happiness in that smile to begin with. Holy shit. Our eyes met. Those big brown eyes full of distress. I could drown myself inside them right then and there with how fearful they were. They were passionate and they held a darkness darker than my own. Noticing my slight hesitation, she took it as an opportunity to mutter out something faint, something almost inedible, something incredible. I loved you. I always loved you. What the fuck is this cunt babbling about? Yet, though I didn't want to hear her bullshit, she kept on opening her mouth and closing it as though she was saying intelligible things. I wanted to at least say to you, I want you to know how I feel. I know how much you hate me. It's so easy to see, but I absolutely needed to get this off my chest. Now I'm ready. Just please stop looking so sad like that. You don't need to get out of your way to make me understand. You don't need to act anymore. She wasn't scared at all. I was nothing to her. Those eyes were telling me this. I start laughing dryly like a maniac. She continuously harassing me even in this situation. She saw through me with ease. I was never a match for her. I let go of her dully, get off the bed slowly, and turn away from her, completely defeated. Still, I was laughing. Like a broken record, I was laughing. Yeah. I try to speak, but I guess I'm not totally prepared for it yet. I take another breath, and then try another time. Get out. There's no use anymore. All I ever wanted was for her to feel hopeless, as I do. But now that I have noticed that her hopelessness was greater than even my own, there was no point in doing this anymore. There was nothing left for me to take away from her anymore. There was never anything for me to take away from her in the first place. How fucking pathetic. I don't wanna. She said with decisiveness. I didn't see her. I didn't have the courage to look at her anymore, but I knew what kind of face she was making. Get out, you fucking bitch. To that, she hugged me from behind. It was an awkward hug, something normally only an inexperienced teenage boy would uncomfortably do to her first girlfriend. Yet I felt her strength, her determination. How irritating. I turned around violently. I took her perfect visage roughly in my hand, put strength on my hold, push her to the wall beside us, all the while making sure she feels the pain with every motion I make. Don't you understand? If you stay here, I'll break you. My face was extremely close to hers. I could have literally eaten her all up right that instant. Yet she didn't flinch. She didn't look away from my fully dilated pupils. She didn't show any sign of pain, even though she was definitely feeling quite some. She was now showing me her true inner self. She was now showing me her true self for the first time in all those years. And at that very moment, that's exactly what I want you to do. Okay, what the fuck? I noticed that out of the both of us, I was the one who was really frightened. What the fuck? This is, what a twist, chapter 4. The explanation I didn't need. Holy shit. Okay, I want to continue this, but I have to prepare for work now. So this is her line, try to believe. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves. God. Holy shit, who's the real monster here? I mean, sure, you can make an argument that the main character, Tim, is the one doing all this heinous shit, but then this twist where Cassandra's like, I want you to. Like, what the fuck? What a twist, man. She wanted us for you to go crazy and psychologically get fucked up and all that shit. Holy fuck. What the hell? I'm kind of disturbed and really, really fucking confused by this. Holy shit, man.